When somebody has us manage like a planting plan on their lot, usually they're buying hundreds of these from us, and we plant them in lines along the contour lines in between the fruit trees. They just have this constantly regenerating hedge of mulch to be thrown around the fruit trees. So almost we like to have like 50% of the land be chop and drop and 50% be fruit trees. So that way their topsoil doesn't deteriorate. Now this is the seed starting area. And we start a lot of the seeds in air pruning trays, which are these right here. And the air pruning trays are good because the roots don't get pot bound. They just, the air prunes the roots as they reach the edge of the container and hit the air. That's why they're called air pruning trays. And generally we're starting seeds in here, and we start way more seeds than we need, and then we throw out half the plants and use what we need in the nursery because the seeds have kind of a failure rate. So if we need 20 black sapote seeds, we're going to start 40. And then we're going to plant the strongest ones in pots and then throw the rest of them out because we don't have the nursery space for hundreds and hundreds of extra trees that we would otherwise have, and then we wouldn't be able to sell them or plant them or anything because there'd be way too many. So yeah, there's a few like that. These are avocado.
Yeah.
You can tell by the pits. We're only planting the local avocado pits, not any other variety, because those are the rootstocks that will perform well in this climate. We're always telling people who are new here, they're like, oh, I want to plant avocado pits, and they take the avocados from the market and plant the pits. And that's not good. So then we'll have rootstocks that aren't going to perform well. So we use those local avocados from seed. They do fruit from seed in like 5 to 7 years, but we're mainly grafting onto them choquette and oro negro and other types of avocado. And so then over there we have grafted avocados that we've grafted, and they fruit much sooner and give a kind of a higher quality avocado. This section has chop and drop stuff, so that's ice cream bean and flamingia, which are two of the 3 plants that we mainly use for chop and drop. And you always recognizing the ice cream bean because of the subleaf it has here. Yeah. In between the sets of leaves and the stem. And then flamingia, there's another one. They're both nitrogen fixing leguminous plants, and so they help add nitrogen to the soil, and they grow really fast, and they coppice really well, which means you chop them and they just grow right back. So they produce lots of foliage, which is biomass. Or when somebody has us manage like a planting plan on their lot, usually they're buying hundreds of these from us, and we plant them in lines along the contour lines in between the fruit trees, and so they just have this constantly regenerating hedge of mulch to be thrown around the fruit trees. Almost we like to have like 50% of the land be chop and drop and 50% be fruit trees. So that way their topsoil doesn't deteriorate. So the section has the chop and drop stuff. It has the rootstocks, which are basically plants that we plant from seed solely for the purpose of grafting later on. And then it has some fruit trees that aren't going to be grafted, but we just have them here because there's enough place over there. And so yeah, there's black sapote, and eventually you're going to be recognizing the difference between trees based on the leaves. And the trunk, so you can remember the color of the trunk, the texture of the trunk, and the color of the leaf, texture of the leaves, the shape of the leaves, whether the edge is smooth or jagged, the ridges, whether they're really pronounced or not. There's a lot of contrast or no. And the texture of the leaf, whether it's smooth or bumpy or ridged, whether it's shiny or matte. So all those characteristics you can start to train your eyes to look for, and then you'll be able to tell the difference between the black sapote seedling and the soursop seedling. They both have slightly shiny green leaves, but different shapes. And also the pattern that the leaves grow out from the trunk. Yeah, so these are starfruit, carambola, very characteristic, very easy to tell the difference of. And these we all graft, the black sapotes we all graft. The black sapote is really not worth having from seed, it's better to graft it. Okay. These are guavas that we're going to graft with the variety of guava that we have, which is Ruby Supreme 1030, which is a worm-resistant variety. These are all jackfruit seedlings, which we hope to have grafted. We've had very low success grafting jackfruit. We're just going to keep trying until we get it right. Theobroma bicolor, it's a cacao cousin. Yeah.
It makes the same kind of pod?
Yeah, big pod. The flesh is better than cacao flesh.
Like more flesh?
Yeah, more flesh, tastier. It has a very slight durian flavor, some people say. I've tasted it, and it did have that to me, but for other people it doesn't. These are mangosteens, varying sizes. So oftentimes once they get to a bigger size, then we'll put them in the 3-gallon pot and put them on the tables over here, which all have 3-gallon pots and 5-gallon pots. These bags, we call them 1 gallon. They're about 1 gallon size. So that's how we sell the plants. They're all priced in the price list: 1 gallon, 3 gallon, 5 gallon, or 1 liter, which are the ones over there. It's actually less than a liter. The ones in the little gray pots. So anyways, the mangosteens, and yeah, we cull plants. Like we'll see, like some of these were just going to stay small and stunted. Like this one looks like it might be kind of stunted. I don't think it'll grow any bigger. So we're killing plants every once in a while because they're just not going to grow well. This is Almame sapote rootstock. Almame sapote from seed is actually pretty decent. It takes longer to fruit. It gets a massive tree. We're also trying to graft most of these. We have some grafted Meme Sapote over there that we have paste Meme Sapote variety.
Why not just plant it like this into the ground, like
Because the
ungrafted?
fruits are smaller and not as tasty and not as sweet.
Okay.
So for example, the paste variety is always bigger and sweeter and more delicious. The Magana variety is like the size of a football, American football, not whatever. Yeah, it's massive. This is Iñaco, which is like it's a native fruit, native to here. It's kind of like a wild avocado. It's got a very cheesy flavor. It's very good. Comes into season like March and April. These are all avocado rootstocks that we're going to graft. We do occasionally plant one from seed because these are a decent variety of avocado, but they're just better when they're grafted. This is Alwerlinia, which is that lemon meringue pie fruit you may have either tried or seen pictures of. In like Hawaii and Australia, they have them as well.
I don't know if I've ever seen it actually.
But it's local to the Amazon, like Brazil, Colombia, Ecuador, northern Peru. Big spiky fruit. We grow a lot of them here. These don't need to be grafted. They fruit in like a year and a half.
Oh, great.
Yeah, like you have some up there on your...
So not everything is grafted?
No, a lot of things aren't.
Okay.
Certain criteria that make it things that we want to graft or no, yeah. So if they fruit really quickly, if they're generally true to seed, like produces a good quality fruit with not much variability, then we don't need to graft it. But if it takes a long time to fruit, it may produce a questionable quality fruit. Like you plant a citrus, 5 to 7 years later, it might give you fruits that aren't even edible. So citrus is almost always grafted if you're actually serious about getting citrus. This is Suriname cherry. It has small leaves, kind of like the carambola, but it doesn't have the same growth pattern. And they're a bit bigger and thicker and shinier. So the Suriname cherry is just a small bush. And it grows to be like this big, and it gives you a bunch of little dark, slightly sour cherry-like fruits. They're not actually cherries, but it's cherry-like enough. So yeah, this is more flamingio, which is the chop and drop stuff, and then grafted soursop. This is a mulberry because it has a ripe fruit on it, which you can eat if you want.
Really?
Yeah.
Ooh.
I don't know how sweet it is, but we'll see. The mulberries grow from cuttings.
Delicious.
We actually don't even make that many mulberry plants in the nursery because I found they grow so easily from a cutting in the ground, in prepared soil, of course. And so we just tell people to do that rather than buying the plants. And this is the Mysore raspberry, which is a black raspberry. It's the only variety of raspberry in the world that grows in tropical climates well. Over here we have miracle berry plants, which is the little fruit that you eat that makes all sour fruits and things turn sweet afterwards. The spiky palms that you see everywhere growing around here, that's right here is the chonta palm. It's a native palm.
Okay.
It grows a fruit, big bunches of fruit at the top. It's kind of like an oily potato. It's spoiled. You can't really eat it raw. It's like little big cherry-sized fruits that are like little potatoes.
Oh wait, is that the noni there?
Yeah, this is noni too. Yeah, and there's some nonis falling on the ground there.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, they're ready to eat.
If anyone dares.
Yeah, there's a bunch of other stuff like this is peanut butter fruit.
Okay.
It has similar leaves to a coffee plant, so that's how I recognize it. It's fruits in 1 to 2 years, very quick to fruit. We have a bunch of big bushes over there.
Yeah, I noticed it's kind of like wavy along the edge.
Yeah, exactly. It's the shape of the edges. This is the African blue perennial basil. It doesn't look that happy in the pot, so once it's planted in a bigger pot, it looks better. We always have to pick the flowers off these because if the flowers grow too much, then it gets out of vegetative growth and just goes into seed mode, and eventually the plant just dies. So we always have to pick the flowers off. And here there's just another whole row of Suriname cherry.
In the back.
We're not even going to plant that many, so we're probably at some point just going to get rid of a bunch of these.
Okay.
And let the other ones get bigger. Because the small plants we always have way more of, and then when it gets to the point that they're going to be repotted, we only repot some of them. And we always run into situations in the past where we would have way too many plants, like dozens and dozens more than we would ever be able to plant ourselves. So at any given time. So it's always important to be able to, like, it's very hard for Boris to do. That's why I usually, when there's no nursery manager, me and Boris kind of share the position, but I'm always in charge of getting rid of old plants because he can't do it. It's impossible for him. It's impossible. He's just like, oh, well, we could plant it.
You gotta weed out the weak.
Like Boris, we have hundreds of plants.
You gotta weed out the weaker ones. Keep the strongest ones. Way to cutie.
Somebody wants to fight. You're in fighting mode. It's a new person, you want to impress her, so you're coming over here to challenge me, huh? But you're not gonna win.
I was eating some banana from the other day.
Arr, arr. Somebody wants a belly rub. No, you want a belly rub. Let me give you one. You want a belly rub. Yeah, you bite so gentle.
Like the most social cat.
Why are you so social? Anyways, these two tables have all 3 and 5 gallon plants that are either grafted or from seed. It doesn't matter. It's just where we put all the big ones. These are all also air pruning pots. They have this one doesn't have enough holes, but they all have a whole bunch of holes drilled around them. They're just like we cut these gasoline canisters in half and
Oh,
use
okay.
them for this. So we just drill all these holes so the roots don't go around in circles on the inside like they normally would in a solid pot. They try to go around in a circle, but eventually they hit one of these holes and they just kind of stop because the air prunes it. So anyways, that's that. So there's all these plants here. I mean, I'm not going to describe all of them right now because there's so many different plants. But
Okay.
yeah, you've already heard a bunch of them. This is like Matoa. This is also called Fijian Longan. It's a massive tree, absolutely massive. Grows very quickly, fruits in less than 3 years.
What is the fruit?
It's a
Matoa?
small fruit with a translucent flesh, kind of like a lychee, but not quite as good. It fruits very quickly. And here we have a graft of a Mesa Pote paste. It's doing fairly well. Very hard to graft a Mesa Pote. We get low success rate. These are not happy. I don't know why they're Poulisson. Almost like they're getting burned by the sun, but there's no sun here, so I don't know what the deal is. Mangosteen is doing really well here. This is a lychee. We're trying to air layer it with this another propagation method. An air layer where we put a clump of peat moss and plastic and aluminum foil to shield it from the sun, and eventually it grows roots out into here, and then we cut this off and put it in a pot. And still a very high failure rate, but we're starting to get more of those. Yeah, it's a meringue. This is a big Mesa Pote that we tried to graft a bunch of times and it kept failing, so we're just gonna get rid of it. There's a durian there. Yeah, the durian, well, we'll go over here to see the durian. That's Amazon tree grade. Yeah, the durian has got gold on the side of the leaves, so it's very easy to recognize because of that. It has that. Other things like this is a grafted avocado. We're putting the names on the avocado like we know that it's an avocado by looking at it, by seeing the leaves. So all we have to write on the tag is the name of the variety. So because we grafted Oro Negro onto this, the tag just says Oro Negro. It doesn't say avocado because we assume people working in the nursery will recognize it.
Okay.
Like this here is a choquette avocado. It just says choquette on the tag. You know, we took the scion from the choquette avocado bush we have right there. So, and always these stay down here, but then they get lower and lower, and the dirt comes up under them. So I always like to move them up higher on the plant.
Oh, okay.
Every so often we have to rewrite the text. There's an Emperor lychee there, a successful air layer from that one right there that we took off. And Sweetheart lychee is another variety of lychee we have. The red salak and Bali salak. There's one here, but most of them are over there in those pots. They're labeled either Rojo or Bali.
Oh, yeah, I see.
Bali is at the higher elevation salak. Rojo is the lower elevation salak. So, for example, if you were to plant salak on your lot, you would want to plant the Bali salak.
The high elevation,
You
okay.
need to plant at least 5 because the Bali needs to cross-pollinate each other. If you plant just 1 or 2, they could, even if you plant just 3, they could end up turning out to all be female. You still have a fair chance, like a 20% chance or something, of them all being female or all being male and getting no fruits. But if you plant 5, it's almost 100% chance that you'll at least get
One of
or
each.
2. Yeah, exactly. So, but they're spaced very close together, like 2.5 meters. So they're, yeah, it's a decent fruit.
And these guys have little spikes too.
Yeah, and they turn into big spikes when the plants get big. But yeah, the fruit's down at the base of the plant. A whole bunch of fruits, like apple, like smaller than an apple, kind of like a stringent apple type flesh. Pretty decent fruit. Yeah, there's a grafted black sapotes there in the corner. We have 3 varieties that are. We bring grafted trees down from Florida. And then plant them in the ground here, and then cut the scions off of them to graft the trees in our nursery.
Oh, okay.
So that's how we get the new varieties usually. A few varieties we got from Tim West in Ecuador, the fruit collector guy. Here's a bunch of more durians. Very, very dry, so she's gonna water them soon. This is chicle, little fruit. It's kind of like bubble gum. This is where we put all the freshly grafted stuff. So anything that was recently grafted is being put here. That way we check on it, make sure the tape doesn't break. If the graft is successful, we move it a bit over there, and also we're checking for new growth on the rootstock. If there's new growth on the rootstock, we're always pulling it off. So otherwise the plant's gonna put all the energy into the rootstock and not into the scion. We want it to put its energy into the scion. So yeah, there's a little bit of new growth popping out here that I want to clear off because I want all the plant energy to go into the scion that was grafted onto it and not into the rootstock.
So as soon as it starts to like bud up a little bit, just take it off.
Yeah, exactly. So this is a Mesa Pote graft. It looks like it might actually be successful. It might be getting successful, which is bizarre because we have so many failures. Okay, it's a grafted carambola. So if you get over here, it's more. Now she did put some stuff that was recently done here, but in general, I prefer the more recent stuff done all over here. And as it gets more successful, we move it over here. And as it gets bigger, we put it in 3-gallon pots on the table. So grafted black sapote here, which are doing really well. And these are grafted black sapote that were just done. Cacao relative, Theobroma grandiflorum, also known as cupuaçu. It's the
Different from the other one, right?
Yeah, it's the national fruit of Brazil. It also has bigger pods and bigger flesh. There's like a native palm called acho that we have too many of them, and they grow in low wet areas. Really, really big, and they produce a fruit that's actually, it's all right. It has like a scaly skin that you kind of peel off, and you soak the fruit in warm water for half an hour, and it gets soft, and then you eat it. You don't have to cook it, and it's like fatty and cheesy. It's kind of decent. It just doesn't have a whole lot of flesh. We have them at the fruit festival. People are always like, oh, this is interesting. So, but they take up a lot of space in the nursery, and we barely ever sell any, so we're probably going to get rid of them. Either kill them or just give them to people who want to plant them. They do good in like swampy areas. And that's pretty much it.